All right, this is a really fun property. This is a 4 acre tract, direct frontage on the take line at Bull Shoals Lake on two sides. And as we discovered actually earlier today, it actually has an old homestead on it, including the remains of an actual log cabin. So it's pretty awesome. We'll zoom right in here and we'll check this out. But first, this peninsula you see here, this is Timber Shoals Ranch. So this is Bull Shoals Lake surrounding it. The shaded area is the Corps of Engineer land, the take line. Bull Shoals Lake is a Corps of Engineer lake. So the water itself and a buffer strip going back from the water is owned and controlled by the Army Corps of Engineers. And that's so they can raise and lower the water level at the dam in the lake for flood control and for power generation and not affect the private landowners. So the green area you see is private land. The shaded area is the Corps of Engineer land. And on a Corps of Engineer lake, like I said, Bull Shoals, also Table Rock Lake by Branson. There's quite a few large ones around here, um, and other places. Uh, since you generally can't own the actual water, the next best thing, or what people try to do, is they try to get something with direct frontage on the take line, because then you can cross over that, use it as public land, and get direct access to the water. So in this case, this particular property happens to have frontage on the take line on two sides. So pretty tough to get anything with frontage on the take line, and very rare to get a property with frontage on two sides. And actually, this has a tremendous amount of frontage, as we'll see in a second here. But let's take a quick look. So here's the property here toward the south side of the peninsula. To get to the property, you would take Mo Ark Road all the way down to the south. That's a paved road. This dotted line is the state line between Missouri on the north and Arkansas on the south. So come to the end of the paved road, take a little jog to the left on the gravel easement road, and follow that all the way down to the property. So these yellow lines represent the road easements at Timber Shoals Ranch. Follow that all the way down to the property. Couple different places that I want to tell you about before we zoom in too much. As far as putting your boat in the water, there are two places that we know of that are nearby. The first one is State Line Cove, which is up here toward the top of the map or the video. So to get to State Line Cove, go to the end of Moark Road. You'll take a left, but instead of going south on the gravel, you'll actually go east through the little trail that goes through this meadow. You hit the shaded area, which is the Corps of Engineer land, and then the trail continues on down to State Line Cove. So this is not an actual easement, but we happen to own the south side of this meadow, and you're welcome to cross it. The reason that State Line Cove is one of our favorite spots to put a boat or a jet ski in the water is it is extremely private, because the only actual road to get there crosses this private meadow. So unless you have permission to cross that, you can't take a vehicle to State Line Cove. So we were just out there a couple days ago, actually. Backed the jet skis into the water, hung out all day. Actually, the ladies took the jet skis all the way to the south, and the guys took the truck and drove down here and met up with them at the Sandy Beach area at the south side of the peninsula. And that's the other spot that we've used to put pontoon boats and jet skis in and out of the water. And it's a very similar situation at the Sandy Beach area. Since the only road access is across the private roads at Timber Shoals Ranch, there's just no way to get here in a vehicle unless you're a property owner. So it's so private and such a cool area. When the water level is down, there are hundreds of yards of beautiful sandy beach. And then in the summer, when they raise the water level up, it's up closer to this green vegetation, which is where it was the other day when we were out there. But it's still just as awesome of an area. Good natural access to put your jet ski or your boat in the water, and plenty of places to hang out and shoreline to explore, and more than enough room to have multiple picnics out there if you want to. And since it's quite open and fairly level, there's tons of parking. I mean, it's just a really unique situation. We were out there basically the entire day, and the only people we ever saw were boats that went by. So very, very private. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. Oh, by the way, this is Tucker Hollow Marina, just across the lake from the property, so that's pretty cool. We actually took the jet skis over there and goofed off a little bit and checked that out as well, so pretty cool. Okay, Let's zoom it on in here. This is the MapRight map. If you get the free MapRight app, we can send you the link for this actual map, so that's really pretty handy. The base map here is a Google map. It's darker over here because Google is actually using a wintertime photo there, and then it transitions to a summertime here apparently. So take Mohawk Road to the south, jog to the left, continue south on the gravel. You'll get to a little barn here and a Y in the road, stay to the right. You'll actually get to another Y in the road, again, stay to the right, keep going south, keep going south, keep going south, and eventually you will get to the property. I believe it's about 2 miles, so it's a pretty good drive. These are fairly primitive roads out here at Timber Shoals Ranch. The guys are in the process of trying to widen them up a little bit and shape them a little bit, but I mean they are a little rugged, so you do want a truck or an SUV. I wouldn't recommend this in a car just because if you get some ruts, a lot of cars just don't have the clearance, but in a truck or an SUV you should be fine. So definitely print out the maps, but ultimately the best way we think is to get that free MapRight app, and then we'll we'll email you. We have to email you the link for this specific map. So let's zoom it on in here. There's Tucker Hollow Marina. There's the property itself. Okay. I'm actually going to zoom in. Let's zoom in one more time. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay, so here's the property. This kind of open area you see here is actually a very small quarry. I was told that in the 40s and 50s, when they were building some of the roads out here, they quarried some of the rock right there, and they also used the natural stone on the front of some houses in the area. Okay, so the yellow line is one of the road easements. Excuse me. The red line obviously is the property, and this other roadway that you see going through is in fact an existing roadway. We found evidence that this was going to be a major subdivision decades ago, back in the 30s or 40s or 50s. It was the plan was to make it a major subdivision at the lake, and somebody's financing fell through and they didn't complete it, but they did do some of the roads. But what I want to mention is, so the yellow lines are permanent road easements. This other road that you see going through here is not an easement. So no one has the right to cross that road over your property. The yellow roads, yes, there's road easements in place. There are setbacks for the road and for power from all the yellow lines. But this line that you see cutting through the property, that is your private, call that a private drive if you like. The thing that's really cool about this tract in particular is there is excellent access. If I can go in a little more here. Oh yeah, that's really good. Okay, I like that. So there's excellent access off this main easement. You can pull a truck or an SUV straight in. You can take a right, you can take a left. I mean, there needs to be a little maintenance done on these trails, but basically with just a couple hours of work, it's completely drivable. So that gives you a very, very private driveway. I mean, you can pull right in, pull back a little bit. I believe you have to be 100 feet off the yellow line, off the roadway, for your building and camping and whatnot. Easy to do on this property. I mean, you have excellent access to virtually all parts of the property because of this existing roadway. And again, this particular existing roadway that I'm outlining here, this is not an easement. So this guy doesn't get to cross you on that. This guy from the south doesn't get to actually, we'll get to the south side in a minute, but this is actually Corps of Engineer land on the south side here. If you've ever had to build a nice, long, clear driveway, you know that this is saving you many thousands of dollars already having it in place. The old homestead itself is right here on the south side. That's denoted by this little house-looking thing. Again, off to the right, that's the gravel pit. Now, the MapRight app is based upon linking to different maps. And what it's doing to show us the Corps of Engineer land is it's linking to some map somewhere that is showing the Corps of Engineer line. It's fairly close, but the Corps of Engineer line on this map is fairly close, but it is not accurate. This MapRight is quite accurate. This Corps of Engineer line, it shows a gap here on the west side. There is no gap. It directly borders it along this west side. It shows a large gap here on the south side. Again, there is no gap. It directly borders the south side of this property. We have verified that, and also when we were out there looking at this old building site in the log cabin, you could actually see the postings and the markers along this south line for the Corps of Engineer land. So this map is, the shaded area is giving us a good idea, but to be accurate, it certainly does border for about 305 feet on the south and about 615 feet on the west side. So just FYI on that, it certainly does. And you can walk from the property, you can walk right to the water. Let's do this. Let's look at topo map. I know this is getting longer than I like, but let's do it anyway. Topography is fantastic on this property, just about as good as it gets. It's the highest on the north side by the road, and it slopes down very, very gradually. Nice gradual slope as you move to the south. As far as walking to the core line, it continues sloping down, and about the last 100 feet when you get to the lake, it does get steep. I guess you could call it a miniature bluff. It's the part that we walked to was 10 or 15 feet over the water. But the nice thing, because this is in such a nice spot on here, if you just walk a little further to the south, and keep in mind this is Corps of Engineer land right here on the south, so you can cross directly over that. Let's move this out of the way. Come on, buddy. Okay. So very gradual walk, just walk straight to the south, and you actually come out to a tiny miniature cove here. We came and stood out on this point, and now this is very gradual to the water. So just a super short walk. Bring your fishing pole, and even the little ones and the older folks, if they want to do it, can walk right to the shoreline and fish from the shore. If you're a brave teenager like I was a long time ago, come on over here and you can do kind of a mini cliff dive. Like I said, it's only about 10 or 15 feet, and it's not the 100-foot bluffs that you might find elsewhere. It's just a mini bluff. The water's quite clear underneath, so you can see there are no ledges. Certainly use your own judgment. If it's murky or you can't see under the water, you don't want to jump. But otherwise, that kind of sounds like fun. So you've got good access there to the south. Let's go back to the Google map. I would have loved if we could have zoomed in enough to see the old home site, but because of this thick timber, that's just not going to happen. Speaking of the timber, I mean, there was some really nice hardwood on this property. Quite a bit of cedar too, especially toward the north side. But once you get into this middle and the south side, there's a lot of hardwood. This old building site, we did not know it was there. We just found it when we did the ground video today. So it was a really fun surprise. The remains of an old cedar log cabin, a board and batten addition to the log cabin. Looked like there was another cedar structure at some point, and then a little toward the east side of the homestead, there was a beautiful, like a rock root cellar, I guess, all hand-stacked rock, so extremely unique. If you've ever been to Branson and visited Shepherd of the Hills, it really reminded me of that style of log cabin and the stacked rock and whatnot, so very cool. Branson, by the way, is only about 15 miles from this property, although it takes us about 40 minutes, 45 minutes to get there because you got to go pretty slowly on some of these roads. Zoom out a little more here. Oop, let's put this back before I forget. There we go. So we can put that about there. That's fine. Whoops. Oh no. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's a good overview. Check out the drone video. Certainly check out the ground video. Come on out here in person if you like. We would love to have you come take a look. We'll provide you with maps. We can give you the MapRight link. There are excuse me. There are property covenants in place at Timber Shoals Ranch to protect your investment. Read through everything certainly to make sure you can do what you like, but basically no commercial activity. No mobile homes. When you do build your home or cabin, it has to be on a full Well, it has to be on a continuous concrete foundation. It's got to be at least 600 square feet in size. A couple other things that you want to be aware of. But it's all designed just to keep this area looking good and keep your property value high and protect your investment. So if you have any questions, just let us know. You can check out InstantAcres.com to see if this one's still available. It is extremely rare that we have anything with any type of old home site. And I mean, I would call this a historic home site. The log cabin portion certainly was quite old. The board and batten addition looked old as well, although it had a tin roof that looked like that was put on later. But I mean, the stacked stone and the log cabin area, that was pretty amazing. That would be really fun to poke around with the metal detector and see what you can see out here. So yeah, InstantAcres.com. Let us know if you have any questions. I'm going to zoom it out here so we can kind of get another overview. Oop, there we go. Maybe I went too far. You know what? As long as we're here, and we're already going way over on the video, let's do a road map, and we'll show you kind of where we are in relation to Branson. I don't know who's texting me here. Okay. So the dotted line you see down here is the state line with Missouri over here, Arkansas over here. There's Branson to the northwest. So as the crow flies, it is 80,000 feet to Branson. So what is that? About 20 miles, I guess? 16 miles. I'm not too great at math here. Okay, so 15 or 20 miles as the crow flies, but actually you're going to go north, hit 160, cut west, and then I think the quickest way is to cut across in Forsyth here. Yeah, that's definitely the quickest. So you're probably looking at 40 minutes. From our office in Springfield, it takes us about an hour and 15 or 20 minutes. Springfield right up to the north. Whoop. There we go, Springfield. So about an hour, 20 minutes, because as soon as you're going west on 160, you'll hook up with 65, shoot straight north to Springfield. So awesome location. Yeah, just a fantastic property. It's as far as I know, the only tract we have out here that has any kind of log cabin. The guys have tracked down what appear to be a couple other homesteads in a few different spots out here, but I don't recall seeing any type of log cabin with these hand-notched logs on any of the other sites. So, I mean, truly a unique tract. The frontage on the core line, I mean, if you're looking for a place where you can fish or relax or vacation, I don't know. Check out the listing. The property's awesome. Let us know if you have any questions. InstantAcres.com. Call us or email us at sales@instantacres.com. We would definitely love to chat with you about this property or any of our properties. InstantAcres.com.